Doing good. Doing good. I'm with DreamscapePrinting.com, and today we are doing a Utah Business Spotlight. We're here with Evolve Tax Services.
Come on into my office and let's have a chat about it.
Okay, awesome. Annette, how long have you been doing taxes for businesses?
I've been doing taxes for 23 years.
23 years. Mm-hmm. So quite a while. You've seen a lot.
I've seen a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so this is something I've always wanted to know. How did you get into becoming a tax specialist and starting your own company? What was that whole process like?
Well, I think it started because I used to watch my dad do taxes for the family.
Oh.
He was doing my taxes for me when I first got married. And I think, the first year that the refundable credits came out, the child tax credit where you actually got money back that you didn't put in.
Yeah.
My dad was quite upset about that.
Oh, wow.
And I got a big earful about it. And I thought, I think it's time for me to do my own taxes.
Yeah, and not have him.
Yeah.
So it was kind of alleviate some stress there. Yeah.
Exactly.
So with your company that you've had now, you've been doing this 23 years. What services specifically do you offer? Do you do just business to business, or do you do actually people's individual taxes? I mean, do you do both?
I do both
Okay.
individuals and businesses. So,
Wow. Okay.
yeah,
That's
so we
pretty
take
good.
care of the
whole shebang.
Yeah.
And then specifically, what services do you offer other than taxes? Do you offer bookkeeping or?
We do. We offer bookkeeping and payroll and tax planning.
Okay, so the whole gamut there.
Yes.
Okay. When you're doing taxes, one of the things that's really interesting is you have to work with like a deadline. Mm-hmm. There's April 15th rolls around, you have just so much time to accomplish with all your clients, including us, right? Mm-hmm. How do you get through that? How do you do that?
I think it feels probably similar to a race because, when you're in a race and the adrenaline starts going.
Yeah.
The adrenaline starts flowing in tax season too because there's a deadline and you've got to make this deadline.
Yeah, right. And then you also have the ability sometimes, as long as is it before April 15th that the extensions, or can you file those even after?
No, you can't file extensions after. They need to be done before, or else your tax return is late.
Ooh, okay. And then there's penalties.
Whereas, yes, you can be penalized. 25% of what you owe is a penalty just for filing late, and then there's penalties for paying late as well.
Yeah. Okay. So if you need tax help, you need to get it to Annette or any tax person before April 15th. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, taxes are one of those things that is like, it feels like the code is constantly changing. Mm-hmm. The IRS is setting new standards or new practices or things are coming into law. How do you keep up with your training on that and keep up year after year to just with tax law, I guess, and the benefits of that?
Well, every year to keep my enrolled agent active, I have to take 24 hours of continuing education that are IRS approved. Part of those are update hours so that you get a certain amount of update hours every year so you can, keep on top of what's changing, and sometimes the changes don't come in till the very end of the year, so you need to keep on top of those.
Really, even towards the end of the year, past tax season.
And sometimes the changes have even gone into tax season itself, and then we've had to change forms in the middle of tax season.
Oh man, yeah.
So it's important to keep on top of those changes.
Yeah. Wow. That's why you hire a professional. But I'm sure you run into people that try to do taxes themselves. And what are some of the things that you commonly see, like mistakes or things that you commonly see from someone trying to file and do their own taxes, either for their company or for their personal taxes?
I've seen them leave or duplicate W-2, so multiple, like they put in their income twice, or they've thought that they've put in certain expenses and they're not reflecting because maybe they didn't answer a question right and it's not flowing. Or, the thing is, when they're looking at the tax return, they don't really know what they're looking at, because you do need to understand what the forms are and what they're doing.
Right. A lot of people they'll go to the store, they'll go buy like a program like TurboTax and some of those things. And obviously they're trying to typically save some money by doing that, or they think they're saving money. What are some of the downsides of doing something like that versus just hiring someone that is trained and knows the tax system?
The downside is you don't really know where all those questions are leading, or if they're really flowing through the return, because you don't know what you're looking at on the tax form.
Right.
And that's an issue, and not recognizing that maybe something you thought is in there is not in there.
Right.
Or vice versa.
And then there's also probably, I would imagine, the changes as you're talking about. It's changing in real time, and when they made those programs, maybe they were set for a certain time frame of what they knew about the tax season, which is always changing. So that maybe they're not getting as much in their deductions or other areas too, right?
Well, I think those do get updated, but
Yeah.
but sometimes it's retroactive updates, and that's happened a few times.
Oh, gotcha. What are some of the new things that we can expect in the year 2024 with tax changes that were not done in previous years?
I think that they are starting to count Venmo income as income this year, 2023. So
all Venmo transactions are now taxable
Reported.
or reported as taxable.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So then we'd got to separate, like what's really taxable and what's not taxable.
Oh, interesting. So if a business is receiving payments and from Venmo from like a homeowner, then that would be counted. Interesting. Okay. Anything else that's coming up?
I think the energy credits have been expanded. Like in the past, there was a lifetime limit of 500, and now there's an annual limit of 1,200. So that's a little bit more than what we've ever had in the past on those.
Oh, yeah. Anything with, I've heard rumors of this, but I'm not sure, but I've heard that they're doing something with inflation, like they're raising maybe, I don't know if it's a child credit, but there is some other things that they're
And those kind of get raised every year.
They do get raised every year. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I know from being a business owner that, a lot of this stuff is just so nice to to pass off on you. It's like one more thing that you have to deal with as a business owner. You wear a lot of hats, right? Managing employees and managing your business itself and your customer base. What are some of the things that you can offer a business owner or someone who's trying to spend all this time personally doing their tax? What is it that you offer those individuals?
Well, I take that burden off their plate, because I find that business owners really get stressed about taxes. Like, if they were to be able to just take that off their plate and spend that amount of time in running their business, they could actually make more than what they're saving, or they might not even be saving by doing their own, because they might not realize all of the deductions that they can get.
Yeah. I think that's really an important point. I'm sure in your 23 years experience of doing this, you've probably seen some crazy things. What's the worst tax mess that you've seen in your career that you've been able to help that client out? You don't have to mention names. I'm not one of them, I hope. But I just wanted to know, like, what's been the worst case scenario that you've seen that's come through your doors, and yet you were still able to help them out?
I think I'm thinking of some that maybe have been paying on a tax bill for years and years maybe, and that bill should never have even existed.
Wow.
And they just thought because the IRS charged them that amount that they were stuck with that amount, but it was actually inaccurate and something that shouldn't have been taxed.
Oh, wow.
So
you were able to get them out of the either, I guess they just didn't have to even pay that, or that none of that was due, or they had already paid sufficiently to cover that bill?
I've had it work both ways, where it's
Really?
been sufficient where after we amended the tax return, it took away all of their taxes, where they didn't have any taxes left after I was done cleaning up the years for them.
Wow. How far back do you have to typically, have you had to go sometimes with the IRS and
Well,
their
there's a
billings?
10-year statute, so
Wow.
so if you've had a tax bill for more than 10 years, it does fall off.
Okay. After 10 years.
Yeah.
So keep your receipts for 10 years. Awesome. Is there anything else that you think someone should know about tax preparation? I'm sure you, because you have so much finite time and you have a deadline, you're probably pulling a lot of all-nighters and really pushing to get those things done for your clients. How do you survive all that?
How do I survive all that?
Yeah.
A lot of Coke Zero and caffeine.
Coke Zero and caffeine.
Well, the caffeine in the Coke Zero.
Yeah, caffeine in the Coke Zero works. Nice to know.
Yeah.
Chocolate probably
Yes.
helps too.
And
Yeah.
Rocky Road ice cream is very
Rocky Road
really
ice cream.
helps.
Yeah. Good to know. I know I've come in during tax season with Annette and I've brought in chocolates for you just because I felt like, one, it has a little bit of caffeine, might keep you awake, and two, chocolates are just awesome.
It's always very much appreciated.
Yeah, who doesn't like chocolates,
Yes.
right? Awesome. Well, thank you for your time and everything. And after this video, we're going to put up the link to Evolve Tax Services and put their information up. So if you want to contact Annette and schedule a time to meet with her and get your taxes taken care of, I can tell you from personal experience, it's been wonderful for my business not having to think or worry about that side of it. Basically, just dump all your problems on Annette and she'll take care of them. And at the end of the tax, it's just a wonderful experience having that all done and done right. And it's just been great for us. So anyways, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.